I always find that the organisation is the best place to start, because within if the programs are going to be very contextualised and very specific to what the needs are, and if we get the outcomes that the organisation is looking for, we really need to start and try to find as much the resources within the organisation, whether it be people or documentation.
I think the most important thing you can do is when you first are given a company, you first have that application, is you either need, if you're a beginner, you need to take out the consultant. If you're on your own, you need to go out there and meet as many people across the company. You need to find out the culture, you need to find out what's important to them, the guiding principles. You need so much information. You know, you're a listener, you're gathering, you're writing copious notes, and I think you're not telling a lot, you're listening.
Yeah. We also have an Indigenous mentor.
Okay.
So he works with Mulgagigi as well, and I guess he's like cultural support for the guys. When they have problems or anything like that, they can go to him, like they can talk to him about anything. He's also there to support us in the classroom, so he can direct us, and you know, if something might be culturally sensitive, obviously men's business, women's business, you know, he can allow us to work around, you know, issues that may occur in the classroom around that.
But our support would probably come from the relationship that you build with the organisation, and for me, it's very important to build that relationship from the managing director right down to the shop floor. So the more levels of support that you can gather within an organisation, the better the program sits. And quite often you can have tensions where different areas within the organisation can have a specific goal. And then when you actually get in there, you find out the need is different again. So the challenge with the WELL program is being able to pull all those needs together in a way that everybody gains something. So it's not only support, but it's making connections. So our role is to do that, isn't it?
Yep. A very common scenario is that senior management are in favour of a WELL program, but the operational supervisors and managers don't necessarily see it as an advantage. Well, they may, but they've got the reality of getting widgets out of the door or getting care on the floor in an aged care setting. So that can be some neat negotiation required there, and repetition, revising, being flexible, and then, without the support of either the senior people or the operational people, that project isn't going to go anywhere.
When we go into a remote community to do a WELL project, we actually, there's quite a lot of cultural protocols and setup that we have to do to make sure that we're welcome in that community knows what they're there for, and that includes the council and perhaps the elders of the community and some of the key people, and we really need to set that up before we do anything, so we have their support. And usually the council or the CDP scheme will be the employer, so we've got their support as well. And because CDP is now connected to Job Services Australia, we also need to connect with them. It's very much the learner's partner in remote communities, because we will know very little about their specific culture that we're working with unless we've been there a long time, and then we become, part of their community, even in a fly in and fly out basis. But because it's very much a partnership sharing arrangement, we learn a lot about their community and their culture, and they take some of our other world learning, our mainstream learning opportunities. So that could be things like getting their driver's licence. So we would access people like the Indigenous licensing team who'll come. We'll train people to sit their learner's licence in a remote community, and they will fly out and test them when we've finished our training. So that support can happen.
Generally, I work really closely with the host employer, and so the employer teaches me how to do the task that the apprentice or trainee is struggling with. And so the supports are the workplace environment. In terms of my colleagues, other teachers, I also work closely with RTO staff as well. And if I have an issue that I can't solve myself, I quickly get on the phone with other RTOs or with my colleagues within the RTO I work in.
For me, the chief support is the workplace, and subject matter experts, who wouldn't call themselves subject matter experts, but managers, supervisors, team leaders, who know about the subject that we're working on. So, for example, if we want people to participate more in work team meetings and they have to comment on charts, I might say to a manager, well, you teach me how you use these Pareto charts in your automotive company. What is it that you want people to understand? What have they got to do with it? How does it feed into the bigger picture? So if I understand how things work in the business, then I can do a better job teaching.
I've been very lucky, I suppose, that the 2 projects I've done, the management have been very happy to sit with me for hours and answer any questions I have. So that's been really helpful, because the managers in both projects have been very supportive of the project and very keen to give me any knowledge that I need to make sure the project runs smoothly.